Alright, I swore up and down when I got started that I was never going to do one of these videos, but it's kind of interesting, so I hope you'll stick around. Now, I'll get everything out of the way straight away, so you don't have to sit through the whole thing for the answer to the question. What is it that you can be doing, which will cost you nothing, which can help your favorite creators, whether they have 400 subscribers or 400,000 subscribers? And it's really simple. You know it already. It is to watch the videos, click like, comment, and subscribe. And importantly, hit that little bell. So with that out of the way, why? That's the important thing here, and what I think is missing from some of the discussion around this. We talk a lot about the algorithm as this otherworldly power, but it's not. The algorithm is input-output. Okay, it's not some genie in a bottle. It will give you consistent results. So one video might bomb, another one might do really well. It's not just down to the content. And sometimes it's a matter of how that is presented. And why is that? Because YouTube is made for advertisers. This isn't a platform that exists for us to all feel squishy and good and happy about what we're doing. And we know this. YouTube makes its money out of advertising. I don't think there's anything that is intrinsically evil about that. We kind of know that in order for a platform to exist, it needs to make money. And YouTube makes money. YouTube makes so much money. It is ridiculous. So you think they could be a little bit more open about how they go about that. But the systems we're able to see pretty well already. And as a creator, you get some really cool analytics tools. Now, one of the cool things about the analytics available in YouTube is that it gives me a lot of really fascinating information about who my audience is. Now, of course, it gives me that because it wants me to be a more effective advertiser. It wants me to be able to target who I know my audience is. So, for example, I know that if I paint a miniature and I put it up, views will be pretty average. If I paint a Space Marine, then the views go up, all right, by orders of magnitude ordinarily, particularly if you happen to be painting whatever is popular at the moment. Now, that's just true for me as a miniatures painter, but the same trends are going to be there wherever you are on YouTube. If you're painting what people want to see at the moment, if you're producing the videos that people want to see, YouTube is going to promote your content more effectively. Now, that's tied into the advertising side of things, because you might recall back in June or July, YouTube changed some of its terms of service. And in one of those updates, it mentioned that it was going to experiment with showing adverts in videos uploaded by people who were not part of the YouTube Partner Program. YouTube partners are folks who can advertise on their videos like myself. And that's part of the reason why I got into this, because I figured if my stuff is up here and YouTube is going to take a cut and, get some advertising in there, I might as well see some pennies out of it. And in particular, it gives me the tools that I can tweak those adverts and make them a little more bearable for you folks. Now, why I bring this up off the back of analytics is that the moment I monetized my channel and I started monetizing new uploads as they were coming out, I noticed that there was a 6 to 8% increase on new viewers to the channel, universally across every video. Now, what that means is not suddenly that my videos were more popular or that I'd done a better job or anything of the sort. What it was meaning is that, well, YouTube has decided to put my thumbnails and my videos in front of people more often to see whether or not they will click them. More clicks means more potential advertising for YouTube, so they are always going to maximize the videos that they think are going to suit you, which is why they want us to look at our analytics and target you so that they can sell ad space on our... Yeah, it's a mess, all right? Every creator on YouTube who is part of the YouTube Partner Program is essentially weaponized to try and sell adverts. We know this. There is nothing revolutionary about finding it out, but it is worth bearing in mind when you look at some of the ways in which YouTube changes things occasionally, and importantly, considering the algorithm. So how does all of this tie into how you can help your favorite channels? Well, Short answer is the longer that you watch a video, YouTube assumes that you are interested in it. It always wants to make sure that you are keen to watch the next video that it offers. Take autoplay, for example. Do you think autoplay was actually put in place because it would benefit a human person? No! It's so that once one video is finished, on it goes to the next, which is hopefully monetized. YouTube plays an advert, ping, ping, ping. It's all sales for them. So autoplay, disable it. Throw that out the window for the first place. But YouTube wants to keep your eyes on what's coming next. So if you're not seeing the content that you want or the creators that you want in that sidebar of recommended videos and what's coming next, you need to tell YouTube. How can you do that? Likes and dislikes are not the best way, which is really weird, but hear me out here. We're going to touch on clickbait very shortly, but clickbait is one of the ways that it will get you. Any emotional response that YouTube can essentially elicit from you, if you see a thumbnail, right, and it really annoys you, and you think to yourself immediately, oh, I'm going to go and dislike this, YouTube doesn't care. You clicked that video, you might have sat through the first 5 seconds of a skippable ad, or perhaps that person hasn't enabled skipping those ads, but you were eyes on a video. You were eyes on advertising space. YouTube doesn't care if you dislike it. And indeed, it will probably remember that the next time that you see something of that sort lurking in that recommended bar, right? It wants a reaction out of you. Positive or negative, it does not matter. Now, it does matter to your creators, because folks like me, you put a lot of work into the stuff that you upload, generally speaking, and a dislike, it stands out to us as people. But it doesn't mean anything to the system. So if you don't like what you're being shown, tell YouTube some other way than by going and watching it, because it will just keep feeding you more to sell ad space. So on your front page on YouTube, you've actually got the option not just of don't recommend this video, but don't recommend this channel. You can tell YouTube you're not interested in a particular video, and it will eventually get the point. Slowly, because even if you're clicking I'm not interested, it knows it's getting a reaction, and it will keep pushing for a while to try and get you to click through and go, oh, finally, I'm going to yell at this person for whatever. But that's, you want to avoid that. Don't feed the machine. Now, one of the other important metrics for smaller channels especially is watch time, right? That ties in directly to how likely YouTube is to recommend those videos and that channel to other folks. So when you're seeing something for the first time, watch it all the way through. Right? If it's not my stuff, if it's anybody's, humor that person. Even if you're not really getting along with the video, if you like the content or you like the person's presentation or whatever, just mute it and let it run in a tab that you're not paying any attention to. YouTube doesn't know you're not listening. It watches watch time. The more of that somebody can get on their videos, the better it is. Now, an interesting little tidbit on that is something that's quite specific to my sort of channel, because I do reference information. Somebody can watch one of my videos the first time all the way through, or most of the way through. They might not care for the outro, but once they've watched it once, I get quite a few repeat viewers. I have 2.1 views from every viewer, every unique viewer that comes to the channel, which tells me as a creator, people are coming back to watch my stuff more than once. A lot, which is actually super interesting. Most of my videos, they hover around the 16-minute mark, and we'll just take that as a ballpark figure. From 16 minutes, my average watch time tends to be about 6 minutes. So those people who are coming back to watch the video a second time, generally speaking, they're playing with the little scrubber at the bottom, and they're looking for, how did I do a specific technique, or what colors did I use in such and such a place? So that's really interesting for somebody in my position, and it is interesting to YouTube too, because those repeat viewers, those are the ones who are going to keep watching my content or somebody else like me who's doing reference material. So as much as possible, try and let something run the whole way through the first time, and then come back and you can scrub and use it as reference later on. Now, I did mention we were going to talk about clickbait, because clickbait is a dirty, dirty, dirty word. But I don't think it necessarily has to be a negative, because if you see a title which says something along the lines of, look at how this happened, number 6 will shock you. You know, we've all seen bad examples of clickbait. But if I were to put clickbait in my titles, it would be something like solving the mystery of dry brushing space marines. That sort of thing. If you see a title which seems like clickbait, but it delivers on what it's promising you, I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. Clickbait has existed for centuries before computers. We call them headlines. The whole idea is to get you to look and look further. And good clickbait, I really think, actually helps not just the creators who are slaves to YouTube trying to get eyes on their stuff, but also you. If somebody really puts useful information in either the title or the thumbnail that tells you what's coming, and you click on it and you get that content, bonus. That's not a bad thing. Clickbait is one where I think there is a lot of negative association because we see so much of it. Blogs in particular are really bad for it because they want to keep you on the page. Same as YouTube wants to keep you watching videos, blogs and similar, they want more time spent on their site where you're scrolling through and they have an ad bar on the side. The longer your eyes are on the page, the better for them. So clickbait, is it good? Is it evil? I think it's a tool that can be used for good and is often used for evil. Know that I would use the ring out of a desire to do good. So to bring it all around back to the original point, helping the channels you like. Watch the videos all the way through, subscribe, like and comment, and make sure you hit the little notification bell because YouTube really, really wants to push that at the moment. I've had 4 or 5 comments recently from people saying that they had watched a video, but they had to come to my channel to go looking for it. YouTube hadn't told them that I had published something. So that little bell, this is why you see a lot of videos which have the like, subscribe, and hit the bell in the middle of the video, because they can sting you with it. But it is a useful tool, so make sure that you're going to make use of it for the channels you want to see more of. The algorithm, that beast, will pick up on it. And one final point, and this is the one I wanted to save to last because it's going to sound like vile heresy. If you're into a channel and you really want to help especially smaller channels who are just getting their footing, turn off your ad blocker. And I know it's vile, it's terrible to say it. I've taken to turning off my ad blocker on YouTube because I know every ad that gets served is a couple of cents to the creators that I'm watching. So ultimately it is feeding the beast. I am positively reinforcing how YouTube works. But in doing so, the people that I want to see make more of the content they are out there doing it. Really good example, if you would have seen recently thumbnails for the fella Studson, I think his name was, he built Howl's Moving Castle. Now that video was 56 minutes or something long. I watched the whole thing. It was really great. I really enjoyed it. I got served like 4 adverts, one at the end and one at the beginning and a couple in between. Doesn't matter. You know, we're watching far fewer adverts than we would while watching television, so ultimately, okay, I can bear that. So that's what I want to say. How can you help me without it costing you anything? How can you help the other channels that you love? Watch what we're doing and share it to the folks that you think are going to enjoy it. I'm really terrible at promoting myself, but if you think that a channel or content that you've seen will help somebody, the best thing you can do for that person and that creator is to send a link. All right? It really helps. So hopefully something here was interesting. I know there's quite a lot of rambling. It's one of these opinion pieces that I don't ordinarily like to do, but some of the numbers might have been interesting to you. a little bit eye-opening in some places. So any questions or similar, feel free, drop them in the old comment box below. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, whatever else I'm supposed to say at this point. But I am really curious to know, in particular, how people feel about that clickbait thing. So you've had it. Hopefully you've responded positively. I will see you next time for some actual painting.